Queen Liliuokalani was the last Hawaiian monarch who grudgingly surrendered Hawaii to the U.S. She was overthrown because the U.S. wanted Hawaii's pineapples, so they decided to overthrow the entire monarchy for pineapples, which is kind of funny. They were overthrown, and she was restored kind of to title, not really to power, because Hawaii had been annexed, which was unfortunate for Hawaii, so they eventually became a state, but until then we pretty much went over there and controlled them for pineapple, sugar, and for naval reasons. Imperialism is the policy that a stronger nation will extend their economic, political, or military control over a weaker nation or territory. The United States and Cuba, United States and Hawaii, Alaska, the Philippines, although unfortunate for them, but good for us. Alfred T. Mann was president of the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island, and was one of the most outspoken advocates for American military expansion, or otherwise known as American Imperialism. He is responsible for our powerful Navy that exists today because he advocated that in order for us to become a real big old war, big bad world power, we needed a really powerful Navy. Part of that was so we can control islands everywhere. Just like the U.S. Philippine Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, those places. It was around this time that the Cubans were trying to get independence from the Spanish, so they asked us for help in their independent war, because we're America, big brother America. So we took them over to help them, which was not exactly what they were expecting, and we kind of started to control them for stuff, including mostly sugar and other enterprises, so they didn't like us for that. And Jose Marti, Cuban poet and journalism in exile in New York, launched the revolution in 1895 against Spain, and he's the one who wanted U.S. to support with the revolution. The exaggerated news propaganda was printed to aid the Cubans, and this brings us to yellow journalism. Yellow journalism is a reporting style that exaggerates the news a little bit, or a freaking lot of it, to allure new readers, sell more copies, or expand certain propaganda. One of these propagandas involved the USS Maine, a warship sent to aid the Cuba that exploded and sunk. February 5th, 1898. 260 of the crew members died and whatever. Yellow journalism pretty much blamed Spain and offered $150,000 for the capture of the Spaniards who committed this vengeance. However, data has suggested that there was actually an onboard explosion, had nothing to do with the Spanish, which was funny. This guy, George Dewey, an American naval commander who sailed into a port and pretty much completely wrecked the entire Spanish fleet. Spain lost 381 men, while the U.S. only lost 1, and it was to heat stroke. So we completely decimated the Spain and told them to leave the Americas. Goodbye, you're not allowed here anymore. The Rough Riders were a voluntary cavalry under the command of Theodore Roosevelt, or Teddy Roosevelt, and Leonard Wood. When we took over Cuba, we put the Platt Amendment out, which means that Cuba could not make treaties that could limit its independence or stuff. And essentially, it pretty much gave us complete control over Cuba's affairs, which is what a protectorate is. And a protectorate is a country whose affairs are partially controlled by a stronger power, or in this case, mostly controlled by a stronger power. Stronger power being us. Meanwhile, John Hay was making a series of political statements to protect our interests in China because they pretty much closed their doors. And what resulted was the Open Door Notes, which called for the open access to China's coastal ports, elimination of separate special privilege for any one nation for trading with China. Pretty much China's ours, but just China trade with China. China didn't like that, of course, and the Boxer Rebellion, which was the Boxers, a secret society of Chinese who opposed Western influence in China and killed quite a lot of missionaries and Christian Chinese people from the Western, so they didn't like them very much. And we made the Panama Canal to increase our monies and stuff, and it cost a lot of money. So we pretty much made Panama an independent country so we could build a canal through them. So that's a thing. There was also this guy, Francesco Pancho Villa, who led revolts against a lot of U.S. people, and he pretty much went around killing a lot of United States people. He was an extremist, and people didn't like him. So John J. Pershing led the force to capture Villa with 15,000 men. However, they were forced to leave Mexico because it was the first time that a foreign power actually was able to kick them out. So they were like, what is this? So they left, and there we are now. We purchased Alaska so that we would have a little bit of a land border between us and the Russians, which was, good because Russians are Russians. American Imperialism. Yep.